We have hundreds of government schemes in Goa. But are we aware of it? Have we applied for it? Have we received it? I know, being a Goan, I have faced a lot of difficulty when it comes to this. So I'm so happy to introduce you Gaurav Bakshi, who's an actor as well as the founder of HelpDesk.in. I'm so happy to team up with Gaurav Bakshi and his team because this is something that every Goa needs. A free service for the people. So Gaurav, can you please tell everyone what is Help Desk all about?
Cecile, thank you very much for having me here. So HelpDesk is a startup which came about because I had faced certain harassment by a government department many years ago in Noida when my wife and I and the family were living in Noida. Post that experience, I started helping pro bono various citizens, dozens of citizens across over the years, and saw some good impact. A resolution would happen and their work would get done with the government. So once my family and I moved to Goa 3 to 4 years ago, I eventually put my mind to this and set up the startup approximately 2 years ago with the intent of supporting citizens, businesses, get the work done with the government, hassle-free, smoothly, transparently, and without any bribes.
Before you say anything further, I want to tell everyone that Gaurav is an active member in the Gram Sabha too. Trust me, in the Gram Sabha, because we belong to the Taligaon Panchayat, and he's been so supportive of the Goans. Even when I faced difficulty at the Gram Sabha, he stood by me when things were happening wrong. That video will be out shortly. So sorry to interrupt you, Gaurav, but please continue what you were saying.
No problem. So in fact, what Cecile mentioned, that was the thought process behind HelpDesk, is to help people stand up for their rights. So we provide, there is an aspect of it which is a professional service provided by the startup to businesses, other startups, small businesses, women-run entrepreneurial ventures, or citizens in general. It could be across any department of Goa. This is a paid aspect of the startup. There is another aspect which is, I would call it the CSR part, or the corporate social responsibility. We want to do it free for the public. And specifically, this is government grants and schemes that exist, as Cecile mentioned. There are hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands, of schemes provided by the central government as well as the state governments. The issues is, one is the eligibility criteria. Are you eligible or not? Second, what is the procedure to apply? What is the documentary requirement? How do you apply? How do you follow? And thereafter, once the application has gone in, the actual approval of the grant or the scheme for the beneficiary. So in these three areas, there appear to be a large amount of delay, often harassment. Citizens are asked to come back and forth dozens of times for a small thing.
And that's what we've been facing so much here in Goa. You know, anything that you need, you have to go to one office, to another office, one application, and none of us know what is the criteria, what are documentations you need. So do you all have that all on your website, what all information you need?
So as part of the free effort, we started off in a few schemes to begin with, which are put up on the website. So I'll give an example, disaster relief or calamity relief. When a calamity strikes, the government has a scheme in place to support those who are impacted. Now keep in mind that many of these schemes are specifically intended for the underprivileged, naturally, so below a certain income level, and rightly so. There are other schemes which are meant for businesses and women, entrepreneurs, etc., which are meant for anybody in general, simply by criteria of either being a woman or being somebody wanting to set up a business. But in this case, let's talk about calamity relief or disaster relief. There is a management authority, a disaster relief management authority, which provides monetary support. So the government provides relief to various folks who are underprivileged, impacted by disasters or calamities. This is across various industries, various fields. If you are in the underprivileged category and you have suffered from damage to home, death in the family, agricultural crop damage, damage to fisheries farm, it could be literally any kind of damage due to the disaster or the calamity, then you may be eligible to access government relief, so government funds. Sure.
So recently we had our main cyclone which hit a lot of people. So I'm sure through your website they can definitely avail. And any criteria is there, like within how many months they can apply for this type of scheme?
Yes, so that's a good question, because if you miss out on the timeline, then you will not be able to get the relief from the government. But 60 days is the time limit. So it's important to know that within 60 days, appropriate documents have to be submitted. Now we have this on the website, but I'll say this briefly as an example in this scheme. Proof of residence or ownership naturally is required. If you have to show that you're owner of the particular home which is damaged, or property, or livelihood or livestock which has been damaged naturally, or injured, or there is a disease. The documentation has to be in place. Without that, you will not be eligible. So if the documentation is placed within 60 days, you need to make the application to the Mamladar or the collector, and thereafter the government processes the application. In this case, the department has been working hard. I can vouch for that myself. I have interacted with them several times. Dozens of people have approached us to get clarity on the process, on documents, on where to apply. So we have been helping them over the last few weeks. It's been a wonderful experience to help those who are impacted. It's also lovely to see many sincere government officials doing their best, literally staying up nights, without sleep, to support the citizens. Now, this is government officials in the collectorate that I personally met. If I can take one name, Sandra D'Souza, wonderful lady, very heartwarming, warm, and putting in a huge amount of effort. So individuals like that, I think, make it a worthwhile space to have in Goa.
I think so. Most of you remember Gaurav Bakshi from last year during the COVID lockdown when all the shops were closed and we were having difficulty. He was the one who came on NDTV and made a big impact with his video stating that grocery shops should be kept open when all the states of India had kept it open. We were the ones only in Goa that had closed and everything, and we had a very hard time. So Gaurav, thank you so much for doing that for us, because that really opened up the eyes of the government and it helped all the Goans.
I think, Cecil, thank you for mentioning that. I think it's important for all of us as citizens. I feel it's our duty to voice ourselves where we can. And I do request and hope that everyone will continue to do that.
I think so, Gaurav, you must be getting a lot of queries regarding Greh Aadhar and Ladli Lakshmi, women's schemes. So can you talk about a little bit on that?
Sure, Cecil. Those are important schemes which come under the Directorate of Women and Child Development. And these are intended for, so the two schemes that you named, let me talk a little bit about them. So the Ladli Lakshmi scheme. It's intended to prevent female feticide and support in the marriage of a woman when she is 18 years or older. Naturally, as I said earlier, there is an eligibility criteria, there is a time-bound approach to the application. For example, if the application is made 1 year post-marriage, beyond one year of marriage, then you're ineligible. The age is 18 years to 40 years eligibility criteria. So the government provides 1 lakh rupees as benefit towards the female. This is Ladli Lakshmi. Now, unfortunately, what has happened over the years is that thousands of applications of such schemes have not been processed. I believe there was an article about 3 days ago which mentioned that 400 applications only have been processed under Ladli Lakshmi out of 24,000. That's a 2% approval rate, which is unfortunate.
I think so. Advocate Pratima highlighted that issue also on the same, because did she file an RTI for that? And
yes.
She got this information.
Yes, so the RTI is a wonderful, powerful tool that provides all of us citizens our right to information. It is a law which exists, and you and I, all of us, have the right to access information from the government which is intended for the public. So Advocate Pratima had done the same for Ladli Lakshmi, and it's good to unfortunately, this information is not what one would hope as a citizen.
Very true, very true.
But that's the reality of a government, and that is why we all need to come in and ask questions. Why only 400 out of 24,000?
Very true.
Why are the benefits not reaching those who deserve it?
I think so. That's the problem with our government. They introduce a lot of things, but the whole thing of people receiving it is the long process. It's a long, tedious thing, and nothing is online. Everything is offline because it is troublesome. So the more you have to go to the offices, people don't find that convenient. If all the schemes were available online, then people would have been filling it in, people would have been receiving it, but I'm sure they want to cut down somewhere, and that's why they might be not putting it online. So this is where Gaurav Bakshi comes in, and he is there to assist all of us. And I'm so happy as the #Roster team always goes out and reaches out. I will be teaming up with Gaurav Bakshi where any of y'all need assistance, we come in. Trust me, I was just talking to Gaurav as to how long would the whole process take in once you email, once you send us a WhatsApp message. It might take to around, 72 hours till we revert back to them?
Yes, the effort will be to get back to you in 2 to 3 days maximum. But please note that it's a small team trying to serve a lot of people. We get a lot of queries. So in case there's a delay, please forgive us. But we are there to support you in every way possible.
So all this information is there on the website. I repeat, HelpDesk.in is the website. Guys, please log on to it, check it out and see, because these are free services that are being provided. There are also paid services, but all the government schemes you can apply free of cost. And trust me, this is something that I think so we all vision for, where services like this comes at our doorstep or through a phone call. And this is one man's idea, dream, to have Goans have that benefit because he's residing here. And thank you, Gaurav, so much.
I'll just make a small clarification. So all schemes for the underprivileged are being offered free.
Okay, yeah. So I think so this is something that we all can benefit. So please check the schemes out and please email us. There's a WhatsApp number also. WhatsApp into us all the queries that you have and let us make your life easier. If there are people who can't read and write, please support them and also share this message out saying that there is this facility available. Spread this message out, guys, because trust me, let's make things easier for all of us Goans. So Gaurav, thank you so much and God bless you for this initiative.
Thank you. Thank you, Cecile.